Welcome guys to another episode of Boom Arena. Today we're gonna be reaching 5500 medals using this deck. You may know it as a default deck in Boom Arena and it's pretty hard to play actually. I've come with a little struggle with this, so it's gonna be a more little of a challenge video. Do not play this deck if you want to really push medals, but at times it's fun to play and it has some good matchups even in this meta. So without further ado, let's jump to the games. Also, I should probably note this is the second most used deck in the game, right after, of course, 2.6 Super Ape. So if you are playing Boom Arena, you will face this deck quite often, and in this game I'm gonna actually be facing 3 gunners. So obviously the best response in my hand will be the Bomb Skeleton, neutralizing those gunners, just like that. And yeah, we're gonna be having a very comfortable damage lead. And he's gonna try to pump up, so yeah. Obviously the best response will be just pressure the lane. Also, Bone Blaster should help out with killing Phone King, so that's gonna be a very good trade for us. And yeah, I think our position is pretty fine actually. Just need to kill this Bomb Skeleton, and right now we should be absolutely good to go. He will be up some mana, but we have the damage advantage on both lanes, so there's pretty much nothing we have to worry about. Right now I'm gonna just leak and see where he will put his 3 gunners, because I don't want to overcommit the Bomb Skeleton on the wrong lane. And right now he plays Dark Knight, so it pretty much indicates that he wants to play on the left lane. And now he freezes my Bomb Skeleton, which simultaneously activates my Viking Tower and slows my Bomb Skeleton, which is literally the thing I want in this position, because, well, with cards like Bomb Skeleton, the thing is you don't want them to cross the bridge too fast, because if you do, well, they will be just like kited by cheap cards. And right now he plays very nice missile, sensing that I'm gonna pressure him. But anyway, we're gonna pressure anyway, because these Bomb Blasters will connect and do sufficient damage. Like previously, I'm gonna not commit Bomb Skeleton just yet. I'm gonna just play some waiting moves, and right now he plays Dark Knight, so it's pretty safe to say that I can play Bomb Skeleton in the back. Also, I'll have to address the fact that he's playing some heavier cards, so this Bomb Skeleton will come in handy very much. Right now this Phone King will get some value, probably will be kited by this cannon, which is perfect actually. And right now we are gonna just play another Bomb Skeleton. This game is going pretty well, and so far he didn't break through, so just finish the game by playing bullets, and that should be lights out. GG's. Let's jump to the game number 2 of today's video. Another deck that will be pretty not optimized, I'm gonna be playing it, will be this default deck. And I'm talking many things about deck optimizations, asymmetric matchups, and I'm gonna try to explain the best way as I can what it really means. If you want to have the optimized deck for some scenario, you want to have the cards that synergizes with one target pretty well. And what I mean by that is, if you have cards that serve different purposes and are in the same deck, you have to make sure that they are fitting at least in the same picture. So if you can see, we have Bone Blasters, which can be used in I believe 2 different ways. They can be just a cycle annoying card that your opponent will have to respond to every time. So, well, it shines in cycle decks, and this deck definitely isn't cycle. But second instance where I think Bone Blasters are very good is in like beatdown deck. And this beatdown, I mean, in a control deck which acts like beatdown, so it has the potential to make up very big pushes, but the main game plan is just controlling the board, never allowing your opponent to make a play, and once you get the advantage on the board, you just play your Bone Blasters and basically cash out your advantage. And even if you are cashing out your advantage with Bone Blasters, you usually have the map control, so your opponent cannot easily counter push you. So that's the second way I like to see the Bone Blasters decks. And from two perspectives I've just mentioned, I believe this deck fits better the Bone Blasters control variant, where I'm just playing the deck like I'm supposed to with control deck, and once I have the advantage, I'm just cycling back to my Bone Blasters, and I'm gonna take the advantage of my opponent's bad cycle, bad mana situation, or both. And right now I'm gonna just actually take the decent advantage. He's forced to play a Dark Knight at the bridge, which usually is not a good thing to do. I'm gonna just play Bone Blasters on the opposite side, very important, because if I were to play on the same side, yeah, he would play bullets and kill my Bomberman, so usually you want to play Bone Blasters actually on the opposite side, but since his weak side was on the right, I was playing Bone Blasters for the entirety of the game on the right side. So yeah, let's jump to the game number 3. And that's basically how I approach playing this deck. It's not the best optimized because obviously Bone Blasters are way stronger in cycle than in this control. In control you basically have to like be better than your opponent, because if you aren't better than your opponent, you usually will struggle with that control part. And well, if I'm being honest, the control part is the most important one, because if you don't control the pace of the game, you probably won't be getting any success. So yeah, I have just banked on that I'm gonna win this micro exchange, and I did, so that was good for me. Also, I'm gonna just play Bone Blasters. One will go off, and he's gonna be playing Viking Dark Knight deck. That's another example of not optimized deck, because as you probably can tell, Viking and Dark Knight fulfill very similar role in the deck, and both of them are just a big tank that pretty much wants to lead the push. And if you have two of them, technically you can make 2 times more pushes, but only if you're all... Oh, there's the third big tank, by the way. So with 3 big tanks you're basically sacrificing too many deck slots, and with that being said, probably other aspects of your deck will hurt. So for instance, I don't believe he has a spell. I may be wrong, but I think he doesn't have a spell, and usually when you don't have a spell, you absolutely don't want to go against control decks, because control decks are pretty good at literally controlling the pace of the game, and once the game is locked, pretty much only spells break through. That's why like Splemetry is very strong, because it's basically a win condition that is a spell. You can play it whenever you want, and while you need a map control to play it, sometimes you can just force your opponent to defend anyway by playing Naked Symmetry, for instance with Poison. Sometimes it works. Anyhow, we will be playing like the control version, which has like I've said, Bone Blasters as a slight punishment and Bomb Skeleton as our lead tank. And yeah, that's why I think this deck isn't well optimized, because usually you want to things that pair really well, and these things pair just well. I'm gonna try to explain in the next game. Let's jump to it right now. Alright, so the thing that I actually like about this deck is this Bomb Skeleton Bone Blasters part, where you can just apply pressure from multiple angles at the same time. But the part I don't like about this deck is the Bomberman. Like, Bomberman can come pretty handy at times, but usually it's just a sitting duck. So, for instance, we're gonna be playing right now against bridge spam, and well, bridge spam doesn't appreciate things like Bomberman, because once you play it, there's pretty huge chance that you will never get to play it. For instance, right now he's just playing Poison, and by knowing that, I will probably never play a Bomberman, because, well, I'm gonna try to stop this thief, there we go. I'm not gonna play a Bomberman because he just has very good responses to it. He has a Dark Knight, he has a Poison, and getting two of these out of cycle will be probably very hard. The other thing is, like, if this was a gunner, it would be no problem because it would be way cheaper than a 5 mana. 5 mana, contrary to popular belief, is a huge amount of mana. It's like 50% of your current bank, so if you spend it, you are pretty much half vulnerable to another side pushes, and that's not the case with Gunner. Actually, Gunner costs only 4 mana, and I don't know, it just feels like it's way less committal, and with control decks, you want to sometimes commit to your plays, but not very often, because, well, if you want to commit to your plays, you are most likely playing beatdown, and that's gonna be a moment where I'm gonna play a Bomberman because it's just a cheaper option, and if I'm gonna get to force out Poison, I'm gonna just play Bomb Skeleton in the back. So that was a pretty much tactical Bomberman, which pretty much suggested him that he takes a +1 trade, but in reality my Bomberman already have gotten a value that he was supposed to get, and that's why this trade wasn't a +1 for him, but instead it was positive for me. I'm gonna try to actually play the game right now, since he's actually making good calls. Very well defensive Phone Hut. The thing that I don't like about my opponent's deck is that it's like not it's not committal enough. Like, if you're playing bridge spam and you're playing building, you're pretty much insecure about your win condition, and you kinda need like these poisons. I don't know, it's just you're spending so much mana on pressure, and then when your pressure doesn't pay off, you should be applying obviously more pressure to just kill your opponent in one go, but my opponent's deck doesn't work that way. He will actually be playing a control deck. Contrary to popular belief, Dark Knight decks can be control, and if I out-control him, the things like this will happen, where I'm just gonna have more troops because he was spending too much mana on spells. Right, I'm gonna just play bullets, and with that being said, I think my Bomb Skeleton will reach the tower, and that's gonna be lights out. GG, well played. Let's jump to the last game of this video. To sum things up that I've taught in this video, I would say that this deck isn't the best, but I mean, isn't the worst, but definitely isn't the best. There is a world where this combo actually works, but I don't think that deck is just good enough. Like, there are better alternatives. That's what I'm That's what I'm trying to say. This bomb will take care of it. That's right. I'm gonna just apply some pressure because, well, if my cannon absorbs that hit, it will be very huge. If it won't, it's gonna be like whatever. I'm gonna actually take hold wins on my tower, which in a way sucks, but right now he will have to deal with Steel Hammer, and I'm gonna try to play Bomb Blasters with Bomb Skeleton on the opposite side, because this thief will die. That's gonna be a pretty good deal, because he still has to react to this Steel Hammer, and right now I'm having just a heavier pressure on the opposite side. And here it is, Dark Knight. I don't have the best responses to that right now, but he's very dry on mana, and Bomb Skeleton takes very long to kill, so I'm gonna just play my Stone Phones to force out Devils, like this. And I think Archers should be absolutely enough to counter this Dark Knight by themselves, and they are. I think, yeah, I'm gonna take this hit for my hubris, whatever. let's reset. We're still in the lead somehow. I'm gonna play Steel Hammer, and from his card rotation, I believe he's still not ready for this, so I'm gonna just apply some pressure. It's not the good way of playing this deck, but it's it's a way for sure, and I'm gonna try to in a way validate it. So I'm gonna just get a break with Stone Phones, which is not something that you want with this deck to happen, but yeah, I'm not gonna complain too much. He's gonna play a poison in the back, which I believe is a mistake out of him. I'm gonna mirror with bullets so we can make a game slightly more even. I mean, if it was really a misplay and not a resignation sign, why not? We still have a game to play. These devils were... okay, just in time. I was about to say these were too late, and if they were, the game would simply end here. Because, well, that's a crap ton of advantage to have at this stage of the game, and right now he's gonna try to break with this poison, which I don't believe is possible at all. This bomb will take care of the gunner, that's very fine, and I'm gonna play Bone Blasters on the opposite side to force out some response. It's gonna be a gunner, which is absolutely acceptable response, and he's gonna go on the opposite lane, which is, in my books, at least a very good call, because I won't be able to support this bomb skeleton push. Obviously I'm gonna get a kill on this gunner, and oh, if he allows the bomb skeleton reach the tower, it's not a good trade for him at all. Also, he doesn't have Dark Knight, so I can just make plays like this, where everything just will fall apart for him. In a second bomb skeleton will connect, by the way. I'm gonna just play bullets here, and I think this tower will survive, but not for long. I'm just gonna cycle casually to bullets like this, and that's gonna be lights out for him. GG's, and that's gonna conclude the video pretty much. And there you have it, we've reached 5500 medals using the default deck, so even if you don't have any idea what deck to play, this deck has some potential and you can master it, although there are better decks. The last thing I want to do is to better this deck for something that would work better. So let's say we want to stick with Bomb Skeleton and Bone Blasters as a base, and the better things that will complement that, I think. First of all, we'll be putting Gunner or Piercing Archer. For this instance, I'm gonna put Gunner instead of Bomber, so that you don't need to have a triple air defense. So you can swap archers for the card of your liking. So for instance, well, obviously we don't want to have a Steel Hammer as well because it's pretty heavy, and instead of that we'll have Ghost. Ghost synergizes with Bomb Skeleton very well. I believe I want to keep Stone Phones because he has a cheap swarm. We're gonna get rid of archers, and instead of that we're gonna play devils because devils synergize pretty well with Bomb Skeleton. You can play with a super devil, but yeah, the devils are just better in this particular setup, because I think having some swarm cards will be healthy for this deck. Obviously I would get rid of the cannon, but if I got rid of the cannon it would kinda nullify the purpose of the deck, that is the control. So I'm gonna just replace it with the skeleton hat, which I think for this particular deck is more appropriate since we have already Gunner, and I think this will be a good improvement to the default deck if you really want to play with Bomb Skeleton and Bone Blasters. But like I've said, there are just better combinations, so I'm gonna just revert them to the previous ones, like this, that, and that, and yeah, that's gonna be the video for you guys. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like this content and you want to see more, and leave down the comment and express if you enjoyed this video. So I'm gonna see you guys in the next upload tomorrow. Bye bye.